All right, guys, we are back for episode 12. This is the Complaint Department. I'm Joe. That's Kenny.
And I'm
brought...
Rick.
What?
And I'm Rick.
And that's Rick. Doing his own intros now. He's our own little celebrity. He is the most popular video on our channel, so we're bringing him back again. Everybody loves his stories of shitting in parking lots and telling other stories. So we've got more Rick stories to go into. He's been alive longer than me, so he's got some, and usually not shy on sharing his opinion. So we've written down some Rick stories that we're going to share with you there. Maybe go into some more trucking details, and then just general complaints if we get to that. I don't know. I never know how it's going to go. I planned it all out. It was 45 minutes in with the last one before we even looked at the list.
We wasted 45 minutes planning before we hit record.
So thanks for tuning in. We are up to 63 subscribers. We appreciate all 60 of you because here's 3 of them. So.
This is a dozen episodes, 63 subscribers. That's 5 subscribers per episode. Let's keep it going.
Let's go.
Let's bump them numbers up. They're a little rookie. Come on.
Rick really needs you to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, throw a subscribe.
Right here.
Yeah, is that it? If he touched it, you got to do it.
Right here.
Yeah.
Send it to everybody you don't know.
Also, throw a like down there. We did get a few likes on the last one, so I think bitching about it worked. Unfortunately, now you're going to make me keep doing it, so go ahead now and make it hit the dislike, right? I don't think we've gotten one yet, but now I said that, now I will.
Are you allowed to see dislikes on YouTube anymore? I thought they took that feature away.
I see them.
Oh,
you
okay.
don't.
I was like, is that even a thing?
Yeah,
still?
the creator can see them.
Oh.
So
also, only you know if people don't like you. The rest of us are just like, oh, they like us.
Yeah, it's just all smoke and mirrors. It's wonderful. Also, it's an adult show, not for kids. We were using adult terms, I think.
Usually.
Yeah. Maybe we were gonna start with that one story, I think, where me and Rick were just starting to get acquainted.
Yeah,
I believe. But it was at Kenny's house, so I'll kind of let you lead it.
There was an incident at my house probably, let's say, 12 years ago at this point, maybe?
No, it's been longer than that. I've been with Lindsay for 12.
All right, so it's at least like maybe 15 or so.
The hell was that?
I kicked something.
You're like,
you broke my light. All right. 5 seconds in. I didn't
Rick's
put my feet there like he did. Look at Rick. I trained him with, take it out. Oh, shit. Oh.
Wait a minute. Put this back in. Oh, Joe. Oh,
right.
Oh.
Where do you put your feet out? All right. I'm going to move the lights.
He's
hit.
coming in for a landing.
I can put the light somewhere else. I just didn't. All right.
This is what you guys came to see, huh?
Yeah. God damn it, Rick.
This is getting views.
Oh, maybe we won't cut it out.
Calm down, Team
Oh. We're supposed to cut this out. Now you're going to make me leave it in because it'll be the funniest part of the podcast.
Watching Joe crawl under the table.
There's lights everywhere.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen.
That's how I met Rick.
That was a quickie.
Okay.
Hey, Joe, you ain't the only one that's made me that way.
Yeah.
Just so you know, you ain't the first.
So it started out, Rick had lived with me at our first place. He was our roommate between me, my wife, and our other roommate at the time. And Joe was coming over to hang out that evening, and the power went out. And since the power went out, we were like, well, we're all fucking hungry, so let's make some food. And we realized we didn't really have much charcoal, so we called Rick, who was out in the road still, driving around, and said, hey, Rick, bring us some charcoal. And while I'm doing that, Joe and another buddy of ours are filling the grill with what remains of the charcoal bag and what remains of the charcoal lighter fluid.
Weren't you out there?
Oh, I was there.
Oh, okay.
I was on the phone watching the entire...
From a distance.
watching the entire thing. So, as we're there, the grill, which was a high-quality propane converted to charcoal grill, which means you just throw fucking charcoal in it and hope it works, had a lid. It's maybe like, that. And Joe decides he's going to prop it like this. So
Okay, you missed a detail in the story that it's raining.
What? Okay, it's raining because that's why the power is out. It is raining. That's why the power's out. So as we're doing this, Joe's propping up the thing to keep it from getting too wet. What he doesn't realize is the fumes of the lighter fluid are building up in that grill rather quickly.
Okay, but what is the number one enemy of fire? Water,
So-
right? So we don't want the water getting in there. We got to keep the lid closed a little bit.
As I'm standing over here going, hey, Rick, can you get us some charcoal? And he goes, yeah, I'm right down the street. I'll be there in like 5 minutes. I turn around and go, hey, Joe, Rick's bringing us charcoal. Do not... Woof, woof. Fucking fireball comes out of the grill to the point where Steve, that was with us, lost an eyebrow
Yeah, he did.
because it took his eyebrow off. And Joe lost all the hair on his arm from here to here.
I think it was because, I was doing like this and then, had the lid down, right? And then we soaked that sumbitch.
Yeah.
We did not want to have to do this twice because we're getting wet. It's raining. That was the arm I was reaching in with the lighter.
Yeah.
And literally was just like a cannon, like towards my face.
It was aimed at you.
It was.
My wife was in the house. The house shook. And at that point, it wasn't long after we brought Joe in the house to get him a bag of peas out of the freezer so he could put it in his arm. The power comes back on, and Rick comes in the door with the charcoal.
Better late than never.
It's shaking that trailer at that time was not a feat, though. I mean, you
It
got to
wasn't
explain.
the first thing that shook the trailer. No, it was not. But it was the first time Joe ever shook a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. It's the Roast Joe show. Now, where's the Temu one?
Calm down, Timu Stigall.
I don't know which one it was now.
Calm down, Timu Stigall.
Nice. So that was one of the first times we met, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, so he thought I was a real rocket scientist.
Yeah, when they first met.
I mean, literally a rocket. It was fire. It was a rocket towards my face.
when they first
I
met.
just wonder, when I first started hanging out with these guys, that out of a 500 million sperm cell or whatever it is, how they ended up being the fastest ones.
on the same day.
We have the same birthday. Yeah.
His
Literally
mom
a
was
year.
his mom or dad. Somebody was busy.
Yeah. One house to the next.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Someday.
Do you want to tell the story that you brought up a little bit earlier about the guy? To go into that story about the guy in the hallway.
Oh, so I'm living in Cleveland, and not a nice area because, well, I was young and it's the best I could do at the time.
Ohio, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's an altercation out in the hallway. I hear a couple guys fighting over some money and some drugs. And I hear a thump against my door. I'm like, then a gunshot. And I'm laying on my bed, kicked back, just watching TV because it's a little studio apartment. And right here in the windowsill, it kind of explodes a little bit. You can see the bullet that fucking went through my wall. So I did what everybody else does. I hit the floor, crawled to the kitchen, and grabbed a knife, and went to the bathroom and hide.
I mean, is that what everybody else does? Is that what you do, Joe? Have you been shot at yet?
I don't know what I would do. Bullet comes through the wall. I'd be
Joe
like,
would shit himself in place.
right?
So I stand there for a few minutes, and I hear the sirens and everybody. And I'm pretty sure it's the cops knocking at the door and stuff. But yeah, I still got the knife in my hand. I hadn't let it go yet.
Could be the guy with the gun. You don't know.
Cracked the door, and the cop like, "Hey, drop the knife." So I do. I just let it go. Stuck it in my foot, the top of my foot, just dink. So now I'm like,
did you have shoes on?
no, I was barefoot.
No, he dropped from the bed and crawled across the floor. Who put shoes on first?
That's true. He's sitting in his house with shoes. Well, I don't know.
He's laying in his bed with his shoes on. Like, I just got these Pumas. They're
he-
awesome.
If he's got drug dealers in the hallway, I'm wondering the quality of the inside of that apartment.
Joe's like, there's drug
I
dealers
probably
outside.
shoulda.
He kept his shoes on at all times.
Right.
Or should have.
His foot is bleeding all over the floor, but you couldn't tell anyways. There was
Yeah.
already blood stains everywhere else.
So they do get the ambulance are there, so they patch my foot up a little bit.
Oh, that was nice. How convenient.
You'll be fine. And then the cop asked me the greatest question ever. He's like, "Did you happen to see who did it?" I was like, "Yeah." I opened the door and was like, "Hey, can I get your ID? The cops are going to want to know exactly who you are, please." I was like, "Fuck no!" I crawled to the bathroom with the knife.
Yeah.
You know the one I stuck in my foot?
Yeah. That's good, though. Crawling in a tub. I don't know what I would have done.
It's a cast iron tub.
Yeah.
It's going to give you some protection. I don't know if it'll stop.
Right,
me.
because you're not going to want to leave because you don't know where it's coming from.
or
I
where
would
he
assume
went.
over the hallway, right? But like you go outside and then he runs
I
outside.
mean, you know where it's coming from if you've traced the hole back. But
Yeah.
I'd
Did he
stay
have
out of
time to do that?
area.
He's getting his protractor out, like wondering, well, the bullet came from over there. Did you get the bullet? Or is it?
Oh, they dug it out. I wasn't allowed in my apartment for like 2.5 days or something like that.
So where'd you go?
I went and stayed with a buddy of mine.
Oh, okay.
And then he was like,
That's a phone call.
he's like, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to go back there. He's like, oh, here, take this 45 with you. You'll be fine. Next time it happens,
Oh.
shoot back.
Line up the hole and just fire back through.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happened a lot over there?
More than you probably want to know.
Probably. I don't know. I think I've ever been to Cleveland.
I've never been to Cleveland.
They have the Browns there. So, Steelers fan, I don't need to go over there.
That's enough to make you want to
Yeah.
shoot somebody, the Browns.
I guess. I don't know. I've been to Baltimore. But as, coming up through D.C. I went to a Steelers game down there. That's a risky business for sure. You don't want to go down there if you're a Steelers fan. But,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they are rivals, so that's
Yeah, they're very nice.
part of that thing.
And then again, Steelers fans are very nice if it's a Ravens fan in
I was
Pittsburgh.
going to say, if you go to the Heinz Field and you're a Ravens fan, it's about the same, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's not Heinz Field anymore.
What is it now?
Something else that's not as rememberable.
Oh, okay.
I thought
I'm
it was
a
like
terrible-
Three River Stadium or something like that.
That was the one before Heinz that they tore down. Or
Oh.
it used to be Three Rivers, and then it was Heinz Field. And now somebody else Heinz stopped the sponsorship or whatever. They renamed it to
So
something
now
else.
it's renewal by Anderson
Yeah, I forget.
Pavilion.
I'm a terrible Steelers fan. I don't know the name of the stadium. Oh, well. They didn't win the Super Bowl. It's not worth remembering.
You know what the Browns Stadium is called? The toilet.
God damn.
Joe thought you really knew the name.
That was... Well, he lived in Cleveland. What is it called? The Hole in the Wall Stadium?
No, the hole in your ass.
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
toilet, yeah, pretty much covered it. I mean, I don't,
Did you? So you had similar experience with Jared up there with my toilet. Did you use the bidet?
I did. I have
Yeah?
one in my house.
Oh, you do. You're a bidet guy.
I am.
Yeah.
What-
But I was
his
kind of
first
curious
time?
about why the hose was hooked to the shower with the shower or the hose end on. I mean, is that if the bidet's not strong enough?
Well.
I just
gonna hook
don't
the
feel fresh yet. Let me get the pressure washer.
need to remove my hair from my nuts that way. Yeah.
Hey, if you do shave your nuts and not the back, is that a mullet?
It'd be like a nullet, wouldn't it?
A mullet. That's terrible.
You brought it up. I just figured I'd roll with it.
I brought up the bidet. I didn't know we were going to go shaving my asshole. I didn't know we were going that far.
Well, we're calling it a bidet, so we should call it a moulet, and we'll call it a noulet.
A new lay?
I go home and
mullet?
tell my
A
wife I
mullet?
got a new lay. She's going to punch me in the eye. I'm going to look like a raccoon.
He's going to shave his nuts and be like, I got a noulet. And she's going to be like, you fucking do not.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Do you want to tell other stories about the trailer? Or
at
you had
that
something
trailer,
else? Yeah.
at that trailer, when we lived there, Jen, besides having the trailer rock due to Joe, it rocked due to other people that lived there as well. But there was a night where Jen sleepwalks, and apparently Jen decided to sleepwalk to the kitchen to get something to drink at the same time that Rick thought it was clear to leave his room buck-ass naked to get a drink as well. And they met at about the kitchen right at the refrigerator door.
No, it was.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
So
I was
I
going
had
to say, Rick's going to be the better teller of it from this point.
I don't know if
I
it
had
was in
a
his
girl
sober
over-
days or not.
well, no,
Oh,
there were no sober days.
I
there.
don't know. I mean, maybe he walks around naked now, man. That's his
I
thing.
do. You
Oh,
better
okay.
not. You,
So not much has changed.
right? Yeah. If you're coming to my house, you better call before. Yeah. And if you don't, well,
I'm glad you have a bidet.
you're right.
You're going to see some little dick.
But it'll be a clean dick.
Right.
A clean little dick.
So I had this girl staying over, and it was like 3 a.m. We get done, and I'm fucking like parched. I'm just thirsty. So I get up, and I'm like, stick my head out. It's fucking dark. You can't see your hand in front of your face. I'm like, oh, I'm good. Walk out, open the fridge door, which now the light's on.
He's illuminating himself.
Yeah. As I'm drinking this gallon of fucking orange juice right out of the jug. Put it away. Go to close the door, and Jen's standing there. And tries to have a full-on conversation with me.
Yeah, like, why are you drinking out of the fucking carton, motherfucker?
No,
Not why
it
are you
was-
standing there naked.
Neither one of those. It was like, oh, what are you doing up? You having trouble sleeping too? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, there's just other reasons I'm awake. I said, you have a good night. Well, you don't have to go to bed. I'm like, I'm going to bed.
I'm going in my room.
So I go back in the room, and the girl that I have there is like, were you just having a conversation while you were... I was like, yep.
While his dong was just dangling.
I mean, it was probably similar lighting to the lighting we have here. It was all dark, one single light source coming from it.
Yeah.
Dick was similar lighting to this.
And Rick tries to tell me about it the next day, like cautiously, like I'm going to be concerned that she saw him. And she had no clue she saw Rick. She was completely out of it. So, I mean, either you're not that memorable in her dreams or in real life, apparently, or she was just that out of it.
Yeah. I remember those trailer days. They're fun. We were much more irresponsible back then.
Oh, yeah.
We like all grew up and have
But we were-
families and jobs now.
We were around like 21, so, we were in our 20s and 30s at that point.
Yeah.
I'm a little older.
Yeah, you'd have been in your 30s.
I was in a life crisis there, a second divorce, and, well, alcohol and drugs were a great escape at that point from just reality.
Right? That's what everybody uses it for. So then he moved on to being a trucker, right? So
Yeah, while he lived with us, he had just gotten his trucking.
yeah, when did that happen?
You had your CDL when you started living with us as the roommate. You had just gotten your first job at the one place locally. So it wasn't too long after we met you that you were actually on the road driving.
Yeah, I
And
kind of
starting to
pulled
build
my
up
head
your-
out of my ass and at least got cleaned up enough I could get a decent job and start driving.
Yeah.
And so I took a job with a company delivering utility equipment, bucket trucks, digger derricks, some cranes. They had some other stuff that they worked on. And then I would take them back out or go pick them up. And I drove this Ford Ranger one way or the other and towed it behind, and it would tow behind the whatever truck or whatever I was going to deliver. Yeah, and I'd bring the other one back or whatever. So one day, Jen was like, I would love to go with you. I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
She had free time. She wanted to go for a ride, and Rick said, "Sure, you can ride along."
And I
Do
think
truckers do that a lot? Like, I know they probably do it with their kids and stuff. Like
Yeah,
when their
you can-
wives go and
Yeah.
whatever. I mean,
So
it doesn't matter.
she went with me. I think we were going upstate New York somewhere.
Yeah,
And
maybe Staten Island or something.
we had stopped to get drinks and stuff. And Jen goes in and asks the guy for chapstick. Or looks around, they didn't have chapstick.
Yeah.
Buys Vaseline at a truck stop. Like
Put on
this-
her lips because they're getting chapped from riding in the truck with the wind and everything else. Apparently,
And
at least that's what she tells me.
she checks out and goes out, and I go in to pay for the fuel. And the guy behind the counter goes, hey, is she with you? And I'm like, yeah. Is she your girlfriend? I said, no. She just, oh, well, how much is she? And I was like, what? I was like, oh. And he goes, does she have time? And I'm like, no, we don't. I have her all booked up at the next truck stop. It's going to be a little while. So I pimped his wife out.
Almost.
Yeah.
He gets to
You
the
had her all
truck.
booked up.
He gets to the
Yeah.
truck. He's
Checks-
losing
checks
his
in the mail, huh?
shit.
I walk out to the truck and Jen's sitting there and I just get in and I can't even talk. I crying laughing. And she's like, what's so funny? I was like, whore, shut up. And she's all confused.
Yeah.
So then I tell her the story thinking, Jesus, she's going to reach over and punt. I'm going to have another black eye.
Yeah.
Because, I just pretty much made her a hooker.
Yeah. Well, you saved her from being a hooker.
Right. Yeah, I could have pimped
You
her.
could have pimped her out. I mean, she could have like.
I probably should have cut you
Paid-
in for half.
Right?
know?
I was gonna say I'm in a whole state away. I'm not getting any commission, nothing.
Would have never known.
She thought it was hilarious to the point where they actually called me at 4 a.m. to share the story with me. I don't know if I felt it was that funny at 4 a.m. being woken up to be told the story, but
Yeah.
He was pretty much like, yeah, what? Okay.
Oh,
Like
so it was
it-
like 4 in the morning. Oh.
Yeah, like just make sure she brings half of it back.
Yeah. Split it with you, maybe.
We had another buddy of ours living in there too.
Yeah, that was a unique individual.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't know that story with him. I mean, we would just hang out and play games till all hours in the morning when I was
Didn't
significantly
me
less
and him
employed.
kidnap you one night from your driveway?
They tried.
He tried, but I'm just too small and squirrely. I got away.
He got dragged across the driveway once or twice, and then he made it into the house and locked the door.
Yeah. He was
Was I was there for that. I was the driver.
You were the driver, yeah.
I didn't.
was it? I don't remember who was
I
involved.
drug him back in the car so Joe could run inside.
It was in my Celica, wasn't it?
Yeah, the gray one.
I don't know. I don't think I was sober, so
I think we
don't
were going to throw you in the
remember.
trunk.
I do remember getting dragged across the pavement though.
That had to
Okay.
feel great.
That was, like, oh, yeah, that's what had me by the feet, like, pulling me. And I was just like, what are you doing right now?
Besides
I've been
ripping my
drunk.
skin off.
I've been drunk, but I never grabbed my friend by the ankles and started dragging him.
It's like, come on, Joe, let's
Like-
go. We're going to go play games.
I'm not that cool. Like, like, it's not worth it. Like, yeah.
Well, he was quite the ladies' man, So he was constantly with a new one, constantly had a new one. So,
So it was the night before Thanksgiving? We were out drinking, and he disappears with this girl. And he's supposed to go to my mom and dad's the next day for Thanksgiving, but he doesn't come home in the morning or whatever. And I go over, and I'm hanging out with my mom and dad's, and they're like, hey, where's... And I was like, I don't know. He hadn't showed up yet. So I call him. He's at home. He's like, I'm not coming over, though. I was like, okay. So night progressed. I go home, and in the bathroom, and I hear him screaming like a 2-year-old child on fire. So I'm like, there's something. Open the door. He's got his crank in the sink, splashing water all over himself, and a can of Raid on the...
And why
On
did
the
he
sink.
do that?
The girl that he went home with gave him some crabs or some type of bug or rash, and when I talked to him earlier, he told me, and I was like, just go to the drugstore. I said, they make a shit that's blue or whatever. I said, go and that'll take care of it. Evidently, the drugstores were closed or something. He went to Walmart and bought Raid.
but even at Walmart, he could have gotten,
Yeah, he could have
red lice removal, whatever. But he was probably like, Rick said, it's a blue bottle. Let me find the Raid that's got a blue bottle. It's the same shit. It'll work.
So he thought this chick gave him a bug, so
Yeah.
I'm going to go get bug spray.
Yeah.
I mean,
He eliminated the bug and the twigs and the berries.
So bad, we ended up taking him to, I think, urgent
yeah.
care or something the next day. He had blisters and...
oh, jeez. I've
I'm
never
like,
tried
you're
that.
not supposed. First of all, you're not supposed to put it on your skin, let alone a sensitive part of your skin.
Yeah.
And use the whole fucking can.
Well, I didn't want to miss any. Didn't want any of them to get away.
Right?
He was in pain for a while, but oh my! And he's like, "Do so." I'm like, you're on your own. I am no,
Do
no.
something.
Do something.
I'm not kissing your boo-boo. That ain't happening.
There's limits to this friendship.
It's Thanksgiving. We'll put you in the snow.
Yeah. That's what I'll do. I'll throw you off the porch. Just do a starfish and land like that.
Yeah, he melted his twigs and berries.
This is the same guy that also I had bought a new pistol and brought it home, and it's a semi-automatic 9mm. And he looks at me dead serious and says, "Let's play Russian roulette." I was like, "Okay, you go first."
Not a very bright guy.
It is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
So then I had to explain it to him how that worked. I'm like, "You don't understand how that works?"
Yeah.
What's next on the list, Joseph?
Let's see. We had Joe blowing up the grill, covered that. Jen and Rick on a truck ride, had that.
Yep.
Well, we didn't talk about Rick's and his affection of fire.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, even though you made my house shake with the fireball, Rick
Yeah.
is more the fire bug because
That's true.
even when Rick makes campfires, I do advise you sit 6 feet away until the fire stabilizes, or you will at least singe your nut hairs.
Yes. I have learned that about Rick.
Yeah.
Yes. You like making it a little big, huh?
Go big or go home. See, I am from the country.
Rick doesn't stop putting logs on the fire or whatever he has until the fire company tells him to stop.
Pretty much, yeah.
I am from the country. When we build fires, we build them big. When we said bomb fire, hey, we're going to a bonfire, you could see this thing from 2 miles away. Everybody knew where we were having our parties at.
Rick thinks it's more convenient if you don't even have to leave your house to roast your marshmallows. You
Yeah,
can
I
do
mean,
it right from your own living
No need to turn the heat on inside. There'll be plenty outside. Just leave the door open.
Yes.
Heat up the outside. The inside will heat too.
It's not what I was talking about.
But as Rick has an affinity for fire, and he likes to catch things on fire, there have been incidents where things have caught on fire that you didn't cause, and you almost died at least twice.
Well,
Again.
the first one I didn't almost die in. I wasn't even in the
okay.
truck.
Oh, that's it. The second one you almost died. The first one you were conveniently inside the building.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever heard these stories.
So I
Fully.
had an older Kenworth that I bought. It was actually the very first truck I ever bought. Outright bought. And I at the truck stop, and I was parked in the bobtail area. I went in, I got a shower. I went over to the Denny's to get something to eat. I'm sitting there. Lady comes over and she's like, "Hey, do you own the blue Kenworth out here in the bobtail?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I was just like, "Fuck, who hit my truck?" And she's like, "Oh no, dear, nobody hit it. It's just on fire." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, it's just on fire." I walk out the door and it's just ablaze, and I'm like, I'd have much rather have somebody just take the hood off.
She's like, "Oh, it's okay. It's on fire. Would you like your eggs cooked over your own truck or over the griddle?"
You can roast your marshmallows then.
Yeah, the fire company's out there and they're spraying it all down, and I'm like, well, guess I'm calling the wife for a ride home because I ain't staying in that tonight.
Where was it at?
I was luckily I was only out in Carlisle.
Oh,
So he
okay.
wasn't
Not
too far away,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. You'd be in Nebraska or something.
Right.
You're screwed. That's going to be an expensive Uber ride.
Right?
Yeah. So that was the first time?
That was
That
the
was
first
the
one.
first time.
Okay, so that was just the practice run. The
Right.
second time.
The second time was my
How many people you get to say that to? So the second time that your truck caught fire,
Right.
you've got a hell of an insurance company. They're just like, oh, well, we'll just copy the paperwork. You
Right.
don't have to fill this shit out again. I can just put it in the photocopier. Oh, good Lord.
So the second one, I'm signed on with a different company and I'm running over to Lancaster. Boy, if I just didn't give our location away, right?
No,
I'm pretty
Joe's giving his
sure-
address away with every Amazon.
Right. It's like, yeah. They find
So
the green
anyway.
mailbox in Windsor. They got me.
I'm running over there to pick a load up. And I could smell something burning, but I can't figure out where it's coming from. I'm like, okay, something's getting hot.
How
But I
big
have-
is this truck? Is this like a...
This is
like-
a full-size sleeper, 18-wheeler.
Okay.
But I can't tell exactly where it's coming from. I have no lights, and I'm just like,
no lights.
no check engine lights, no codes,
oh,
no
oh.
nothing.
Yeah, like nothing alerted.
Just like, I'm
Nothing
just
to
seeing
alert-
like the
no reason to
Titanic.
be concerned.
Right, I'm seeing the Titanic sinking and the lights go off.
You do
That's
have
what
to
I
be-
thought, no lights.
Look, Joe and his low fuel light phenomenon. You do have to be specific.
Yeah, I forgot who I was talking to.
Yeah,
So
right.
anyway,
I'm stupid so the viewers understand.
I get parked, and I go to check in, and the guy's giving me the paperwork or whatever, and he kind of looks over, and he's like, hey, your truck's on fire. I turn around just in time for it to go boom, and this big fucking ball of fire go up because I have ether and alcohol and different shit underneath the bunk that happened to ignite just at that moment. And it went from a little fire to a big fire.
I was going to ask, at what point do you get tired of people coming up to you going, your truck's on fire?
I'm good. I'm done driving. I figured at this point that's, my only fear of dying is I don't want to burn to death. I don't care how I go. I just don't want to burn to death. That's 2 trucks. I'm done. Fuck it.
No, but the third time's a charm, though, because when we drove from here to Florida for that cruise with all of us in the truck, Maddie's Charger actually started to catch fire on the floor of the van. So it was almost 3 times with Rick driving, going,
I'm telling you, it's trying to catch me.
The fire's trying to get to
Luckily, we
him.
smelled that one and found it, but I'm pretty sure Rick had that same charger in the other two trucks.
You ever see Final Destination?
Yeah.
That's just shit chasing me.
Never seen the depths of hell actually reaching out for somebody like that
Right.
so well.
Rick's guardian angel has earned medals, is employee of the year, the month, the century.
I'm getting one hell of an ass kicking when I get there.
They got quite a list, like a checklist to go over. As the one we're going over now.
Right? Yeah.
Really halfway
we started the list. This is what St. Peter's going to go over with you when you get to the gate.
Just got like a checklist.
Remember that time?
I'm just gonna get there and be like, look, just give me the express elevator. I already know where I'm going.
Just walks right by. Like, no, I know. Just going the other way.
Let me save you some time.
Yeah, right.
I've seen the highlights.
He's got your job interview going on like, oh, it's not looking good. Like, oh, yeah.
Got VIP access.
The express lane. You got the express pay. What's Disney call it now? I forget. Rick and I driving to the campground.
As another gift exchange, at the time, Rick was dating a female, and we decided we were going to buy her mom a gift for her birthday. And they had this campground, or they had a campsite at a campground down through, so we would go down. Rick would make the giant-ass fires, that would catch the entire woods on fire. And we would show off everything you could see from this fire. So we decided we were going to get her a gift, and Rick wanted to get her something special. So we went to Cupid's in New York.
Yep, down in the city.
So we buy this Mr. Stud inflatable doll for her, and we buy her a lollycock, which is basically a lollipop shaped like a dick. So Rick's like, cool, we got all this stuff. We're going to head to the campground. So Rick's in the car. He's driving this Toyota Celica. We're in Center City, York, going down the circuit. I'm in the passenger seat opening this gift to inflate it. So as you go down the circuit, you see Rick, and then you see this inflatable doll beside him going,
And of all places, they put the inflator like on the taint.
yeah, right in the perineum. So I'm there.
So I'm driving. I'm normally like zipping around,
Yeah, he's
But no,
slowing down.
I'm like doing like 20, making sure people look. I'm beeping the horn, and he's down there blowing his doll.
I can feel the car getting slower as I go.
I'm making sure people see this.
We get it done. I get it fully inflated. It's basically just a naked man sitting on my lap like this as we're driving through the city. And then I got to take
Basically what Jen saw with the fridge light.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I'm taking this lollycock, and I'm like, okay, now we got to affix this thing to it. So we're like taping up to it, and I'm pretty sure as I'm putting it in the back seat, it looked like trying to get it ready to get down to the campground. We got there, and Rick had to tell everybody the story about how he slowed down to pretty much 10 miles per hour in the city, driving by York Revolution Stadium, just like, hey guys.
How many laps did you do? You're like, Kenny, this is taking forever.
Right? Blow it up faster, man.
Well, I would see the yellow light turning yellow, and I would slow down so I knew I caught the red light.
Rick was stopping at green lights.
I wouldn't know. I had this latex in front of me. I couldn't see anything.
He was getting intimate with Mr. Stud.
Yeah. Mr. Stud and I were involved. We were focusing. We had a job to do.
He didn't even get a 20.
Yeah, I got nothing. No reach around, no hand job, I didn't even get a mushroom mark from that guy.
How'd the gift go?
Oh, loved it.
She loved it. She even
Did you
loved...
make sure the fire was big enough so she could see it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The fire was big enough that I'm pretty sure the entire campground
Oh,
saw
I think her daughter had more fun with the sucker, the lollycock.
Yeah, for sure. But they all enjoyed the story of Ken going through the city, blowing up the doll.
So we have a campground with other people around, and the biggest fire is the one with the blow-up doll.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the naked blow-up doll. Yeah.
Like everybody came up and used to hang out when we were all there because it was the the place to be.
Yeah.
And when we're talking like this fire's raging, Rick's getting this fire raging, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab this gift out of the car. So I come out holding this naked man just in the shadows.
To the point, like 15 foot in the air, the branches were dead. I killed them.
Yeah, he had basically burned all the leaves off that hadn't fallen yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was what I was known for down there. They were like, yep, he's...
Which campground is this?
That'd be
Otter Creek.
Otter Creek Campground, yeah, down
No,
there.
I've never been there. I've been to Muddy Run a couple times. It's a nice one. Everything it's like the campsites are always so close together.
Yeah.
I get they got to make money, but it's like, man, that's not even like camping, you know? It's like
Otter
the
Creek's
campsites
pretty-
are like this close together, like sometimes in campgrounds.
Yeah, no. Otter Creek's kind of spread out. You're in the woods a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're on a
okay.
hill, so usually like one's here and then it'll step down to the next one. So you're spaced out pretty good. But they still have the fire rings, and the rules are is the fire's not supposed to go above the
It's
fire
not supposed
ring.
to be above the ring.
I had the wood stacked above the fire
But Rick
ring.
would have needed like 8 more rings to cover the fire.
He's got like other rings stacked. It's not going above that top one. You know, I got 10 rings.
But they're not worried about Rick's. Well, they are worried about Rick's fires to some degree. But then here's the best part. So we were down there for 4th of July one time, and they do their own like 4th of July celebration where these guys get a pontoon boat and go out on the Otter Creek and start setting off these fireworks. I don't know about you, but the safety concerns of a bunch of drunk people with fireworks and lighters on a boat sounds more concerning than a fire above a ring.
yeah. Well, they're legal now, right? Like fireworks?
Well, they were legal at
What's
the
the-
time too.
They're legal to buy. Actually, I think the law in Pennsylvania is you could like the ones that shoot up with the mortars. You can buy them, but they're actually legal to light off in the state because they're still a class.
You can still light them up in the state as long as you have X number of square footage that will not be impacted.
Yeah, I
you
think
have
you
to
need
be
like
100
3 acres.
50 yards away from everything. Like you have to be
Yeah.
in the middle of a field.
Oh, okay. So you
So
can
technically,
do it.
like-
I know the law changed, but I never looked it up. I don't
Me and-
buy them.
Me and the other guy we were talking about earlier, we used to buy them and go down to the river and go
Throw them in
fishing.
the river, yeah.
We just light them because of the mortars.
Yeah.
Instead of putting them down in the tube and letting them shoot out, we just sit there, light them, hold them, and we look for the fish to come and throw them at them. I'm
My
surprised.
dumb
So this
ass
fish
thought-
is just swimming
Yeah.
along, right? And then all of a sudden he has the most spectacular death. Oh, boom!
He
Pretty
sees
green
the
color.
light.
What happened to Steve? Motherfucker just exploded.
He's seen the light.
That fish thought he was driving one of Rick's trucks. That just
Pretty much.
ball of fire. So when you throw it in the water, it doesn't. I know most of them fuses are like waterproof, right?
Surprisingly enough, and I was dumb enough to participate and at least watch them do this. The fuse does not go out underwater. It will keep going, and the entire thing will light and explode underwater because the further you throw it, it will actually cause the water to shoot up higher in most cases.
Is it still colored?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you time it right, you could throw it, and they have that rocket propelled to shoot them. It'll make a line underwater where you could see it like torpedo, and then boom. It's pretty cool.
If you time it right. If you don't time it right, you're losing a hand.
Right. So you better throw that thing in the middle because you don't know when you threw it in there which direction.
Well, we were up on some rocks, so we could always duck behind because
Oh, okay. It was like a fucking Russian roulette of spin the bottle.
Oh,
kind of,
absolutely.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Like throwing it in there, and you don't know which way it's gonna fucking go.
Yeah, you don't know which way it's coming out of the water at all. But
Out of the water?
Well, yeah, because it's going to shoot back up. It still propels. But it's since you're not using the tube, it's not aimed at anything specific. So it typically just comes straight up or whatever. But
Or-
That's the way it wants to sink.
yeah,
It just sinks, so it's like straight, so it'll straight back up. That'd be pretty lame if it would sink the other way and then just
I mean,
into the mud.
could
if
happen.
it does, it still makes a pretty good splash.
yeah, it still
Because
makes
all
like a-
that explosion, all that has to go somewhere, and it's going up. So it makes a nice little
You're being safe, throwing it in the water.
right.
Yeah, I mean, so you can buy the fireworks in PA now. If you're going to throw them in the river, I highly recommend you get a fishing license because I'm not sure what the legality of that is, but you know.
I don't fish, so I don't know. Do you fish?
I do.
Without explosives?
Well, guys got to ruin everything.
He's like, I'm over here putting a worm on it, and he's putting an M80 on there going, you dipshit.
Joe's catching his first fish, and Rick's like, "Don't worry, I got the whole pond covered."
Yeah, right?
Grab the net.
Yeah.
What do I need the net for? They'll be coming down in a minute.
Yeah. Blows them up. They just land on the shore. Yeah. But you do fish?
I do.
Can you, like, is that legal? I don't know.
No.
It's not legal.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get a visit from somebody at some point. Hey, we seen this on your video.
It was
just a
somebody we
story.
know.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. It's a story about somebody we knew. A guy that did this thing.
guy
and
that
told us
we
about
knew.
it.
who
I've
wasn't
seen
here.
this on TV.
He
Yeah.
told us about this. Yeah,
Incriminating evidence. That's wonderful. That's what this is all for.
exactly.
Ossifer. Oh, that was the campground. I wanted to bitch about campgrounds a little bit that we brought that up. I mean, I
Okay.
don't know that they are like so close together. Like, is there like no standard to that? Because sometimes you don't know. Like, I book them online and I get there and it's like your camper's like scraping the other camper next to you, right? And then you have like a little fire ring and they're like campsite, and you're like, well, but there's like, I mean, there's no legality to that. It's just, well, that sucks, buddy.
Yeah,
You're
that-
basically, some of them, it's a big parking spot.
Yeah,
Some of them are just asphalt parking, and you just get a parking spot. That's
Yeah.
really all.
yeah.
I mean, I've seen it. No, I mean, you need to do your research if you want to go to a nice campground.
Right, but there's no like way to know.
Not unless you've been there before and drove
Yeah.
around it and checked it out, because that's the problem. Like, even the people that get permanent sites at some of these places, like that they're going to stay there all year round or like through the season or whatever, they still have to make sure they pick what site they want, or else they're going to get stuck with a shitty one.
Yeah, me and Maddie did that when we were at the last place. We just walked around and then wrote down the numbers, and we're like, oh, that's a nice one. You know, because some of them they go like back up in the woods, and then you're like, that one, but they're like the same price probably.
Yeah,
So-
they don't care.
If you look, there are some ways you can look them up. Like if you're going to like one of the national parks or even a state park or whatever, a lot of times you can actually see the layouts of the campground or like a small video or whatever, and kind of tell. And then other ones, you just kind of read the reviews on them.
Yeah.
People are pretty brutally honest. This sucks. This is why.
Yeah, I mean, you would be like, I had to park in a fucking parking lot instead of like, it was the best thing ever. I had access to woods."
the asphalt and burnt the shit out of my feet.
Exactly.
Doug could probably give us some complaints about campgrounds.
Yeah, Doug, why don't you tell us, in your instance, what's the best way to research a campground that you've never been to that you're about to go to make sure you don't end up in a
Truck stop
Walmart
parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the difference between a truck stop then and a campground?
Don't
'Cause a
smell
truck
like
spot-
this.
Well, I don't know about that. Because you've ever been to the campsites where it's just like a hole, and it like you look down there and it's a pile of shit. You just shit in a hole and that's it. That's
No,
it.
no, because my camper has a shitter. So
Doug's doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, 'cause
Doug,
there's like a fine line there between a campground and a truck stop. Then, because if it's just all asphalt campground, it's like, isn't that what a truck stop is?
pretty much, except
Just-
don't smell like piss.
And no fire ring.
I mean, you can bring your own
it
fire.
depends. Whose truck's on fire?
I mean, if Rick's coming, you might have a fire ring by the end of the night.
His
Mo-
fire ring's in the truck. He
Well,
brought it. Yeah.
Most of those fire
It's
rings that
already
I've
on fire.
seen are just like old hub or old wheel rims anyway. So if you wait
Yeah.
long enough till Rick's truck's done, you'll have at least 4 of them to use.
obviously.
Well, if it's your big truck, we're gonna have about 8 or so. But if it's your regular truck,
it's
we only
10
have
on the
4.
tractor.
Ah, okay, we get 10 on the tractor trailer. There you go. We can put 10 inside the trucking parking lot when
Perfect.
Rick's truck's
He
done.
even brought him with him. How convenient.
I
don't
like
know
to
if
think
I-
ahead.
Yeah. I don't feel just gripe about in camper. I don't camp enough. I want to. I could. That's my complaint.
How'd that work?
I want to camp more, but that's not
Yeah,
very
but your
good.
schedule is not inducing
not yet.
camping because
I know.
every time I'm like, "Hey Joe, what are you doing?" You're like, "I got to work. I got to go to this place. I got to do this.
I
I got
know.
to do this. I got to do
So-
this."
If you were camping and you
Yes.
were to wake up with a condom in your ass, would you tell anybody?
No.
Let's go camping.
He just said he ain't got no time. You're gonna have to do that upstairs.
It's good I don't have time to go camping.
It's okay. It's what the chloroform's for.
Oh Jesus.
Joe's gonna get a
Kidnap
nice nap later.
Here, Joe, smell this rag.
Yeah. What's it smell like? That is funny when somebody's like, "Oh, this smells like shit. Here, smell it," and you're like, No.
Yeah, I don't want to smell it.
Why?
Why do I need to be involved in this process?
Our friendship is enough that I trust you. It smells like shit. This
yeah, I
tastes
mean,
like
you
shit.
said it
Taste
smells like shit. I believe you.
Yeah. I did want to, because we didn't come up. I don't know if we mentioned on the last podcast, but I was like, we were maybe ask everybody certain questions. So I don't know if you care. It didn't seem like Noah cared. On toilet paper, right? When you put it on the roll, are you over the top? Or are you it goes underneath kind of guy?
Nah.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You're the only one that cares. Do
My
you care?
wife
Oh, my
does.
wife cares.
She'll flip it and then yell at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I put it on whichever way it's handed to me or whichever way I get it out of the cabinet. So,
yeah, it's just random.
Don't you feel like it's easier to rip one way or the other? Because I care.
Not really. I mean, now that I have the bidet, I'm not using that much of it that it matters. I'm only using like one square, so it's like, tick.
It's true. One square.
You can get away with one square?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh,
dab
man.
my ass dry. I'm not like fucking wiping makeup
I
off.
think he's using fucking paper towels. Toilet paper I got, one square, there's no way.
No, we buy 2-ply quilted northern, like good toilet paper. We're not
Oh.
buying Scott. It's not that tiny like shit that's
I
gonna
buy
fall
Charmin,
through.
and well, Lindsay tells me I got a fancy ass because I got to have Charmin, but I'm like,
I don't know if it's Quilter North. I buy Angel Soft. That's But man, we're all into our brands of toilet paper. Who knew? I thought it'd be over top or underneath, but it's the brand of toilet paper.
Yeah, I mean,
apparently that matters.
I could do quilted northern. I could do Angel Soft. I could do Charmin. I could do like what's the other one? Cottonelle. But Scott toilet paper.
Oh, that's the
They
devil.
might as well just move to making sandpaper and quit marketing it as tissue paper.
they ought to
for
name
any
it,
reason.
change the name to John Wayne toilet paper because it's a rough and it's a tough and it doesn't take a shit off of nobody.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I know. Just sit him here to tell all the little dad jokes.
Exactly.
It's great.
I don't even know where I got that from, but I've told it for a long time. But it's funny.
It's come, yeah.
There's one of them. I don't know if it's Quilter Northern or Charmin, but one of them like literally falls apart. I hate that one so much. And Mom used to buy it, and I told her I hate it. It's one of them. It just like falls apart.
I hate shitting at work because they buy the cheapest toilet
Oh
paper.
yeah,
It's on a big fucking fat roll, you know.
Yeah.
We've talked
I
about
don't
that
care how
before.
many times you wipe. You're walking away, and a half hour later, you got an itchy ass because you know it's not clean.
Yep. You missed some. It was like wiping a marker. I stole that joke. That's not fair,
That's where you have to have that bidet installed at work.
right?
So that you can...
That ain't. I don't think that's happening.
Nah, well, you said you were going to be the first one to install one in your gym to, muster up, man.
Yeah, I was gonna. I didn't.
I know.
busy
We're
working.
still waiting.
There's no way.
Don't ask this guy to install it. The last two he installed, he destroyed the toilet.
Yeah, I had to replace the whole inside guts because I stripped it.
Oh yeah.
Because it's fucking plastic.
Right.
Like, you use the cheapest shit possible. So you try to screw something onto it, and it fucks up the threads, and you're like, well, I can't even straighten them.
No, you're screwed. And it's the whole thing up inside. They know they got you.
And it's like $35 to replace the guts of
Yeah.
your toilet. And that's not even the worst part about it. You gotta shut the water off,
Drain it.
drain it,
Yeah.
and then pop the thing back out, and you gotta get the little pipe fucking thing to stick around the inside so it doesn't leak from the bottom of the toilet. You're like, what's wrong with a rubber fucking seal that would just pop down in and be done? Like, I'm not even an engineer, and I could figure that shit out.
That engineer knew what he was doing when he put plastic threads on there.
Yeah.
I kick him right in
knew
the
it.
dick.
Yeah, they knew.
we
They
need
knew
to-
everybody's going to strip it.
Well, they're like, once they get this bidet, they're not really going to need to buy anything else, really. So how do we make them keep coming back? And they're like, give them shitty parts.
Mm-hmm.
Make them
Or
make
the
them
little
break it.
flapper inside.
Oh, fuck. I've had to replace that motherfucker like 3 times.
Like, I did put a new flapper in mine, and I'm gonna end up changing the guts out because the little flapper. I'm laying in bed, nobody's in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You're like,
And it's either the flapper is just like wore out from being in there for so long in the water, or the metal thing is bent to the point where now it just sticks up like just a nut hair.
no, because I bent it down to make sure it's
Yeah,
fucking
you
tight.
bend it back down, but then like after you use it 3 more times, it's back up again.
Yeah. It self-bends.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
I don't know if anybody can hear those on the mics or not.
Calm down, Timu Stigall.
He was getting excited on that one.
That's because, yeah, don't get me started. Motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, he did just have to replace his entire floor and everything in his house because his wife flooded his entire house. So
That's true.
Well, I blame her, but really it was on the bottom of the sink, fucking plastic nut that goes from where the shutoff valve is up to the bottom of the sink where it screws onto the bottom of the sink is fucking plastic. So it says do not tighten with pliers. So I'm assuming, because it had fucking marks on it, because my house is fairly new,
Yeah.
tightened it with pliers.
Somebody
And over
did.
time, it was over tightened, so it cracked. And then over a little more time, now it has cracked and fell apart, and we were away. So it fucking sprayed for like 8 hours, and I come home and 3 inches of water all through my house.
Came home and instead of a trailer, he had a swimming pool.
Yeah.
You had your
Well-
little Noah's Ark over there. So where were how many? You have 1, 2 cats? How many?
2.
2 cats. They were all the way on the counters, just like, dude, it's flooded.
So it flooded out into my kitchen and back the hallway back to my big bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Not the and it stayed in that side of the house, luckily.
So it was leaning this way. The water went that way.
Yeah, and it all went down into the bottom. Because I got the ducts in the floors and that, so it flooded into my flooring, down into my bottom of my furnace, and filled that up. So that ripped down. So that's where all the water had actually ended up. And then it was just a waterfall underneath.
Yeah.
So I had to replace part of the furnace and the ducting, and that was the escape for the water.
Yeah. Think we covered the campgrounds?
$21,000 later.
I had a topic. I can't remember it. I was going to go into my trucking questions that I wanted to ask Rick.
Go ahead,
I
we're
didn't
still
know.
on trucking.
I don't know if they'll be funny. I just want to know the answer. So the CB radio things. Truckers still use those?
Mainly just to agitate other truckers. Most truckers don't even have them anymore, but the ones that do are on there just to annoy the next truck driver. They say stupid shit like, I have no panties on. I don't know why that's a thing, but I have no panties on. I don't give a shit.
Well, do they? No. So my question from that was that supposedly they have nicknames. They still do that?
Yes, some do. But most...
Did you have one?
I did not. I was not a CB guy. I didn't talk on my CB. I had one on for monitoring. I'd keep it real low for the most part, and because guys just talk nonsense, and I was just not into it.
Yeah. I figured.
But it was nice when you were coming up hey, got a brake check coming up on mile whatever for an accident, or it was nice for that. But hell, people call it out and get no response because nobody has their CB. They're called backup radios now. Nobody turns them on until you hit the backup. No one wants to find out.
Yeah. All right. So then, do you make food in the truck? Like, how equipped are these trucks? I've been in a couple trucks, but I've heard they got like Rolls Royce trucks where they got like everything in a kitchen and all that, and some just a bed. So, like, was your truck, do you, like, make food in there, or you, like, pick food up from somewhere? You, like, stock in a fridge? Like, what's the level of...
So it depends. I got a buddy that lives in his truck 2 to 3 months and then goes home for a couple of weeks. But that 2 to 3 months, he's got everything. He's got a fridge, a microwave, hot plate, a convention oven thing that he cooks on, a grill that he can pull off the back of his truck and grill. I mean, he makes all like a fridge about 3 foot high, about 2 foot wide. Goes to Walmart, stocks it up. He does he's actually got a cooking show that he's doing from inside his truck, showing drivers how to make food on the.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's got his own thing like this that he's doing for teaching guys how to cook in their trucks.
Nice.
That's cool. So you got, like, Wi-Fi in the truck? Like, the truck has its own Wi-Fi? You pay
No,
for that, or you do, like, a hotspot thing?
It's like a hotspot thing.
Yeah, okay.
Some trucking companies do have the satellite. So you can get satellite TV, internet and stuff.
But the trucks aren't that smart yet, right? Like, you're not driving around like a Tesla where it's, like, updating the software and all that stuff through the internet?
Actually, I haven't seen any yet. I knew that, like, out west, they're testing Tesla trucks. Freightliner's got a truck, self-driving truck. Yeah. Walmart's really pushing that. Here's the problem. Everybody's like, oh, they're going to put all the truck drivers out of business. No, they're not. Nobody's ever going to let one of them trucks roll down the road without somebody being in the cab of that truck.
For safety purposes alone.
Because when it wrecks, not that they don't think it'll, Because when it wrecks, they want somebody to blame.
Exactly.
It's
Nobody
not gonna
cares
be
until
the-
anything goes wrong.
Right. It's not going to be the truck's fault. It's going to be the guy behind the wheel who wasn't paying attention, wasn't doing what he was, that they're going to fucking nail to the wall. But you stick anybody in, and right now, hours of service are 11 hours of driving and 14 hours to complete your day. If I was to sit in my truck for 11 hours watching it go down the road like this, not having to do anything, how long do you think that's going to last? Where I ain't allowed to be like looking at my phone. I'm supposed to be paying attention to everything. Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then when shit goes wrong, it's going to be the guy behind. There ain't no way I'd be in an electric truck that drives itself that I ain't allowed to be in control of. If I ain't in control of it, I ain't taking blame for nothing.
Yeah. Makes sense. I've seen them. They want to do the convoys. Where they got the guy leading, and then the other trucks follow. And then when you get there, like all the trucking, like to the docks that you would pull into or whatever, like that's going to be different every time too.
I mean,
Like, so you're
so
going to have
the
to have
idea-
intervention, like at that point, right?
So the idea is it's going to be interstate to exit. So
no, well, we got all these fucking pull-offs there. That
yeah, they're going to make big, like almost like parking areas. They do it up in New York now. You can haul.
really,
Is it?
I didn't know that.
You can haul 253 footers across the New York Thruway, but you can't take it off the Thruway. So as soon as you get to the exit for the Thruway, they got a big parking lot. You go in, you drop your one trailer, and then you can leave because you're still only pulling. Because then you're only pulling
one trailer.
Oh.
But across there, you could pull 253 footers.
All right.
and
So
up-
wait, you got the like the. All right. Sorry, I interrupted.
So that's what they're talking about doing for these is every so often. May not be every exit. You may have to go past your exit 2-3 to a bigger pull off. Go drop these automatic trucks will go in there and park, and then a driver will hop in and take it to its destination and bring it back out, and then it can go on its way on the interstate.
I mean, if
They
we're
still
going
got
to
to
that,
figure out how to charge the darn thing.
but if we're going to that level of like creating automated self-driving trucks and all that, I feel like we should just go back and reinvest in the railroad infrastructure at this point. Because isn't that the same thing? Like you still have an engineer that's got to watch it. Like other than it being electric, which there are electric trains out there. I mean, what's
I know,
what's
right?
the difference?
So all the trains are actually electric. They're
That's
just
what I mean. What's the
they're
selling
just
point of
diesel
it?
generators that push the electric.
But that's what I'm curious about. What's the selling point besides the fact that we already have the road infrastructure there? What's the selling point in investing in driverless trucks instead of jumping back into railroad? I mean, none of us know the answer.
I don't know. That's an
Put in
interesting.
the comments.
Yeah, we got
I'm
a
guessing-
logistics guy watching. Let us know.
Yeah.
Because it's a very good question. Because it's really all you're doing. You're individualizing all those little pieces of a train.
So to
And
run
why do that?
So to run trains into places that we already don't have tracks, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The cost efficiency of it.
Right.
Right now, there are still trains pushing cross country, whatever, but they're not going. You're not going to have this infrastructure of trains that can go everywhere, like the roads do.
Well,
And
that's because
kinda
they
why-
invested in the road. But that's why he was saying investing in making the tracks.
Well, that's the thing, because when
Instead
they were
of
going to
because
do
you're going to have to
the,
invest in the trucks.
like when Elon was going to do the Hyperloop, that to me would have been a train concept, but instead of investing in tracks above, they were going to invest in tunnels below.
Yeah.
Which would get them the ability to go from one to one in a straight line without having to worry about the existing infrastructure. So at that point, if we're going to go to driverless trucks, why it almost seems like the Hyperloop might have been more of a better investment for track wise. And at least then,
Because it can go way faster.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be under the
And you don't have the
surface, but-
risk. Because the problem with the Hyperloop was it's going that fast, right?
Yeah.
And then it was pressurized, and it's like you want to put people in there. But what if you're just putting everybody's Amazon packages?
Yeah, I mean, if all
Nobody's
you're
gonna
delivering,
care.
if all you're delivering is just all the shit from Temu, who cares?
Yeah, and it'd be automated, so there's not even an engineer in there. There's like, there, you fixed it.
I mean, that's why I'm just curious.
There you go, Elon. We fixed all your problems.
Yeah,
All of his problems.
I'm just curious because I'm like, the more I hear about self-driving trucks, I'm like, it's cool technology. Like, it's really cool to see a self-driving car. But when you get to the point of self-driving commercial trucks, I feel like instead of calling it a train, we're just calling it something different.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're almost just taking it apart to just have the different pieces of the train again.
Yeah. Well, he's right.
He's not wrong.
And that's why I'm curious. I'm
Because
just
I was in the parking lot, but then you have an automated truck, and then it would just the cab of the truck,
Which would be
not
the
the
train-
trailer,
the old train
and it would
yard where they
drop
would
it. It's going to
drop-
pick up another one, and then it's
Yeah.
going to go. So I could see some need for that, like you're saying, before the rails are there. But if you just had the train there, the train could do the same thing, except it would back in the train, and it's going to drop off 50 cars
Yeah.
all at once.
But even then, at train yards, they have switches to be able to unload different areas. So they
And it's
can-
almost safer, too, because then you have that's going to be on
Let's
the...
be careful talking about safety of trains. Amtrak is not exactly the best track
just-
record as of late. But
I just meant that they're not on the highways
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
families and alleviates the
No,
traffic
no,
on the
but
highways.
when they
huh?
wreck, they dump oil and all the chemicals
Oh,
together.
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
and-
now all the stuff that we're sending along, all those lithium-ion batteries that are in your Amazon packages are going to catch the woods on fire when the train goes down. But we might save some money using trains again.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's not wrong.
I'm only curious because I'm like, I get why they phased out because you could go more places with cars. But now that you're at the point where you're like, I'm going to take this truck and I'm going to put it on a defined route from here to here. And I'm like, that sounds like a fucking train.
Yeah.
So, how many times have you guys been watching YouTube or whatever and see the guy in the Tesla passed out driving, cops fucking trying to get him?
Enough.
That can't happen anymore. And then thank that son of a wonderful person for making it living hell for the rest of us now.
But
One bad apple is going to screw it up for all the rest
That's
of us
how it
that
works,
don't.
though, with
And-
everything.
but I agree with you. I mean, yeah, with the truck
But
thing.
now
I
you're
mean,
gonna let
yeah,
that do
yeah.
it with 80,000 pounds.
Yeah.
You're talking 40 tons.
It's funny because, it's a necessity for us to be able to drive, obviously, and that's become part of our culture. But if you break it down, it's like, I'm going to take this 1-ton thing of metal, and I'm going to give one person that hopefully doesn't fall asleep, and we're going to go 70 miles an hour down the highway. You're like, if I tried to pitch that nowadays, it wouldn't, they'd be like, you're not doing that, right? But now
Well, I
it's just been ingrained in the culture, It's
I mean-
like drinking and smoking. It's like, well, it's already there. We're not going to touch it. I feel like it's that same thing.
Our
it's like crazy
generation, as we
dangerous.
grew up, though, there was always that joke of, oh, did you get your license out of a Cracker Jack box? These days, it's like, nobody knows what Cracker Jack is, so we're not even going to give you a license because you shouldn't get it out of a box.
Well, so right now in the news, I don't know if you guys have heard, but I think it's Arkansas making a huge stink about all these foreigners coming over that can't speak English, can't read, write, and understand the English language, and they have a CDL.
I mean, yeah, because you can get CDLs in other countries, yeah.
And
So, I mean,
and
that
they're
makes
coming
sense.
over here driving. Well, in the FMCSA regulations, it even says you need to be able to read, write, and speak and understand the English language. It's not being enforced, and it's not being followed. But Arkansas has had the shits of it because they're, I think, number 4 in fatality crashes with truck drivers and stuff.
Wow.
And now they're starting to pull truck drivers over, and it's a $5,000 fine to the driver, a $10,000 fine to the company, and they impound the truck and everything.
Wow.
Wow.
But so instead of like a DUI, they're asking them like, "Can you speak English?"
They'll give them a paper, and can you read this to me? And if
Really?
they- yep.
Huh. That's interesting.
Joe would fuck that up. He can't read.
Yeah. I'm like, he read it too slow. Lock his ass up.
Joe's first language is English, and he couldn't read that paper. He'd be like,
can't do it.
the dog and went blue?
Jack and Joe went up the hill
Yeah.
with a bucket and a quarter apiece.
Drop the light.
Joe come down with $2.50, that fucking whore.
This is quickie number 2. Here goes
Yeah, I gotta
Joe.
keep Rick happy. I was the one who kicked the light this time.
Oh.
Damn it, Rick. Hey, at least I'm
said
getting
you were the one to kick
I'm
the
getting
fist out.
I'm getting quicker at it. Oh, your stupid timer idea didn't work. I can't see it. Your
It's-
phone
it's
locked.
right here.
Oh, well, I can't see that from here.
Well,
There's
it's
a
plenty.
glare.
1 and 12.
Perfect. Anyway, sorry to interrupt by kicking the light, but I think we.
Joe, is that
Cover it.
really how you're going to cover that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know what? You brought up this topic. We've talked about it numerous times as a topic to bring up on the show, and Rick is probably the perfect person to ask because you've asked it to everybody else that I've ever met as we sit here and be like, let's talk about this topic. Joe wants to know why he can't pay for sex.
Legally.
You can.
Fixed it.
Exactly. Expert right
Topic
here.
over.
We
Scroll
brought
down.
in an expert.
Just not right here. You got to go to Vegas. And everybody thinks it's in the city of Vegas. It's not. It's
Reno.
it's outside,
Only in Reno,
yeah.
Only in Reno, Nevada is it allowed.
But
So yes,
it's not
it is legal. He is right. I got to give Rick that one. He is correct.
Right. One little spot that
But
I gotta
you
go.
just
wait,
said,
it's
why
not-
can't I? So
Yeah, but it's not right around the corner. Why isn't it available everywhere?
it should be.
I agree.
I mean, it's the
Yeah, I mean, I
oldest
don't
profession
argue
in
that.
the world.
Not right. Not that I really want it. It just bothers me that it's not
And Joe,
an option.
and you can. If you can find a woman that's willing to do it for money,
Yeah.
it's not illegal if you record it.
Yeah.
You just got to.
yeah, because
You're
then
paying her for the recording,
you're
not the
just
sex.
paying her to use the rights later.
Already got the camera
Exactly.
and the lighting, the creepy lighting.
You know
would
what?
totally
This
work.
podcast just solved it. Now we can pay for sex. We just have to bring them to the table.
All right, next week
On
there's
the
somebody-
table or under the table.
Well, we
Either way,
saw what happens with Joe and the light.
It's gonna be way better,
I mean,
Yeah,
he
it's
tried to
so-
get my wife to, go back inside.
right? He's already good at selling it. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a little sales guy.
I mean, that kind of sells itself.
Yeah.
Like, was it available?
I mean, stop and think about it. You could be hanging out in the bar. The most unattractive woman you can imagine, sitting at the other end of the bar. Somebody says, hey, she's getting her tits out. Everybody.
But
You might wish you wouldn't have looked, but you're going to look.
You're gonna look.
And you know
the
what? You're
titties.
100% right. I'm going to look. But the fact that, like, in Reno, they have to get tested and everything else, you kind of know there's some safety behind it. If somebody walked up to me like, that chick at the bar is giving blowjobs out for $1, I'd be like, I don't know if that's a cold sore. It might be a pimple. We're just not going to risk that.
So, on the same subject, though, would you stick your dick in a glory hole, not knowing what's on the other side?
I wouldn't.
I don't think so. I don't want it that bad.
I'd be afraid that there'd be a dog over there.
I'm thinking there's a guillotine over there. It's like. Then again, how thick's the drywall? Because my dick might not stick out past through.
Joe
I
might
mean,
be okay. 'Cause if it's a full-size wall, Joe's not making it past the
Like, it ain't
insulation.
getting through, anyways.
Say it's like a concert. So it's a porta-john with a hole drilled through the other side. Are you sticking your dick through it?
No.
No.
I'm going in the porta-john and trying not to touch anything I don't have to.
This is with the whole system. It's like you can't get a reliable source, that it's safety on both ends.
So I don't know which website it was. It was one of those ones like that show all the dark humor and
Yeah.
messed up. So I watched this guy stick his through a glory hole. Woman on the other side grabbed a hold of it and stuck it with an ice pick. So you got a hole this big with the ice pick stuck down through it and then walked away.
Ow. Well, I mean, look, he halfway to Prince Albert when he's done. I mean,
Yeah, but what do you do? I mean, because you can't reach around.
you're fucking standing there till somebody helps.
I was going to say, you hope you came with a friend and they're good friends. It's like,
That's going to kill the heart on real quick.
I mean,
Yeah.
they cut the video at that point, so I'm thinking, okay, if that happened to you, would you even be able to stand for? I mean, because the pain's going to be intense, but you're not going to want to. You better hope your knees don't buckle.
yeah.
It's going to look like a snake tongue.
I'm going to be hanging on the wall like this. Like bad grandpa where his nuts are stuck in the vending machine.
We always have the important conversations.
I mean, that's the thing. Though, like, since it's not regulated, I would be very cautious about
Exactly.
what I would want to do. But that's the thing. Like, if it was available, it'd be really cool for, people.
Yeah.
But
Like,
I think the other thing, too, is you got to be really careful with that because then people take advantage of it because it's like everything else. They're going to just basically, every other job you've ever worked for, they pay you just enough that you have to keep coming back for your paycheck every week. You think they're making top dollar?
it would be like a waitress in a restaurant, You're getting like tips and, well, Don't fucking. Nah.
Some are bigger than others, Joe.
Yeah, Joe, your tip ain't feeding the family.
Yeah. They mean the ones that rise to the top. All right. Don't. I don't know how to say it without fucking dad joke over here ruining everything I'm trying to say. Serious topics on this show. It bothers me. All right, that it's this, and then nobody cares. But then nobody's gonna stand up and say anything.
You know why?
Because it happens. It happens.
Do you know why they made it illegal?
No,
Seriously.
that's my why. Why did that?
They can't tax it.
They can't make money off it.
How? I mean,
Yeah, because it's not legal. If you made it legal, you tax it. Gambling made it legal. Drinking. This isn't alcohol, but you know what I meant.
you think Susie doing it out the back door like a speakeasy's paying tax on that? No.
No, but she'd have to if she had her own establishment.
How do you prove?
And then we can make it legal, and then you can also check up on it. So you go in there, and they're like not people
that's
drugged from overseas that have to, like you said, forced to do this. I'm doing a good thing here.
I don't think you are, but I mean, I'll give you the point of, I don't think you can use the argument that just because you can't tax it, because there are plenty of other professions that technically walk the same way, because I know plenty of tattoo artists and things like that will only do cash because it's a lot easier to hide how much you're making when it's not
That's
on
pretty
paper.
standard.
But there's plenty of gigs like that already, so it's kind of hard to say that it's illegal because they can't tax it. I think it's illegal because the government wants to be the only one to fuck you.
Yeah, but I pay them to fuck. Well, I guess that'd be the same thing.
It's the same thing. Yeah, that's the only prostitution tax.
And they don't use lube. Like,
Yeah, they're like bend over,
I didn't
Joe.
think I'd like pegging, and after getting fucked by the government, I don't like it.
yeah, that's why it bugs me. It bugs me. It feels like one of the. But was it ever legal in the country?
It
And
was.
at a certain point, they were like, no
Yeah.
more of that.
Joe, there was a time where everything in this country was illegal. There was a time where laws didn't exist. So I mean, how far back you want to go?
I mean, if you ever
what was
watch
the
Western,
reason?
you ever watch Westerns, like when they'd go into like the bars and stuff?
Yeah.
They all
Yeah,
had-
those
were all
bordellos and all. Yeah, that was all
bordellos and stuff were all
brothels,
brothels.
No, but we fixed some things over time that used
So-
to be illegal. They were legal, made them illegal. Like Prohibition, right? Lasted 5 minutes because they were like, that's stupid.
Well, it lasted more than 5 minutes. There was a lot of murders and stuff.
Right. They're like, that's a dumb idea. Then it went illegal. So they're like, well, what about all this other stuff?
There's still plenty of those things that should be fixed, and they don't.
Like, you think anybody that's like going to do heroin's like, oh, I better not do that. It's illegal. I
Right.
don't think that's the top thought in their mind. You either make your decision, I want to do that because I want to do it, or you're not going to do it because I don't want to do that.
So I think
I don't think
there's
the
some of
government
the
has
hard-
that much to side. I think you should be educated about it. I think we should educate people about that. But I don't know. Just a thought.
And they can't say they it's not legal because it's. I mean, look, porn's legal.
Not
Well,
for much longer.
I was going to say, yeah, they're coming for that, man.
There's already
depends
states-
on which state.
I was going to say there's already states now that the sites are just like, look, I'm not going through the hassle of trying to record somebody's driver's license, so we just ban that state.
They just ban it now.
Because the state's like, now you have
Really?
to make sure
Yeah.
everybody puts in their driver's license to verify their ID and verify their age. And the sites are like, well, fuck you. You just don't need porn then.
Yeah, I'm just letting this shit go.
Dude, this country sucks.
Well,
Right?
Hit us with a nuke, Russia.
yeah, he's watching. Yeah, he's got nothing better to do.
I just got us canceled. Sorry, Joe. Fuck it. If we can't have
Man,
porn
we
and
made it
help-
to 63. We were almost there. Mr. Beast, here we come.
Yeah.
Or, who told me I should have, I don't know, I went over to my parents and somebody was like, you should have Joe Rogan on the podcast. I'm like, yeah, I'll
That's
call him
exactly what
up.
we're doing.
See if he's busy.
Hey, Joe, we've recorded like 12 episodes. We thought we'd like to have you on for the 13th one. We want to just, see how things go.
63 people, man, really care.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're still in Texas. We're in Pennsylvania. It's a couple states away. We're not going to pay you anything, but we will get you a drink.
Yeah, right, we'll buy you whatever drink you
I
want.
give you one of these 5-hour interviews.
Yeah,
Get you all hyped up and then record you.
exactly.
Yeah.
But at this point, we won't even make you do 4 hours. We'll make you do an hour and a half. Come on down.
Yeah. Ours are way shorter.
Yeah.
Way simpler. Well, jobs and stuff get in the way. Finished it.
Thank you, Joe.
Boom. Saving lives. Where were we?
121.
We were arguing why prostitution is not legal.
Yeah, I want to know the reason, like the point in time when that happened. Maybe I could look
Well,
it
I
up.
mean, since
I
my
should have looked it up maybe when
since
I
my
had the
great
question.
granddaddy's the one that banned it, I should tell you, Joe. It's just because your great grandma
Was all
gave
mad.
somebody
Does Grandpa want
crabs,
to the
and they
cast?
sprayed their balls with Raid and said, "Fuck this, no more."
I like
If
when
I
we
gotta
take-
spray my balls with Ray, nobody can see a hooker ever again.
Yeah, that bitch gave me bugs, and the bugs didn't die.
I like when we take the whole podcast and wrap it up as a summary in the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how comedy works. You gotta have
Yeah,
callbacks.
we bring it all back in the end. You're touching your mic.
He could be touching his dick right now.
We were talking about porn, so I
Perfect,
started getting excited.
I went under the table already twice. Okay.
He's gone a third time.
You son of a bitch. It was literally talking. Damn it. Oh.
Calm down, Timu Stigall.
Round 3.
Oh.
Ding, ding, ding.
Your stupid underlight isn't worth it. Doug's going to tell me my lighting sucks and it's all your fault.
Well, it's not the only thing sucking, Doug. Don't worry.
Oh, damn it.
Joe, don't talk with your mouth full.
Hey, Joe, how much money you want for this afterwards? Let's just keep in mind that since we're recording that it's legal.
Yeah. Then I could charge for it. That's the whole reason I was fighting for it in the first place. Oh, I'm going to have to leave all this crap in, or else it's not going to be funny.
Exactly.
Oh, anyways. So, I think
Episode 12. Joe's canceled.
He didn't even make it to a baker's dozen.
I was thinking we had to have the baker back on for the baker's dozen.
Yeah, you didn't even make
I
it
go
that
get
far.
Jen. I didn't get through my trucker question.
Okay.
You skipped and put the sex question right in the middle. How much time do I have
Well,
left?
look, that is a trucker question, though. I mean, he's been to every state. He knows at least what they have to offer, or not.
Right. Could like shop, be like
taught you-
Amazon.
He taught you don't ever use a glory hole, regardless of how good it looks.
We're learning important stuff on this show.
Yeah.
You never know if
all
she's
these
holding
are-
an ice pick.
Lorraine and Bobbitt.
What am I bringing my hooker through a metal detector before? Like, how do I know if she has an ice pick? Because if I ask her, she's gonna lie. Is it in her ass? Like, it could be.
I mean, how do you know it's a she?
See, that'd be in like we need like Uber, and be like rate this.
Rate this hole.
Joe wants Tinder for glory holes.
How good was it?
Hole number 5. Okay.
So wasn't it? There was an article not too long ago of a girl in Colorado suing someplace because she was at was working a glory hole or something, and her dad or grandfather or something was on the other side of it.
I have not heard this story, but I'm interested.
Right?
No, I didn't see that one. And how did they know? Was it the flavor? Oh, stop talking.
hey, this tastes familiar. It tastes like Dad's.
Joe's certainly.
I had this at 13.
Joe's sitting here like, if I was working a glory hole, how would I know if it was somebody I knew?
Jen would be like, I've only seen that, but it was with a fridge light. I've never seen. I don't know. This is different lighting. I don't know.
That might be Rick. It might not be. I don't know. That mold doesn't look normal.
It is what it is.
And it only cost me a large fry.
Yeah.
Now you
Mike-
gotta tell that story because he's like, "What the hell?"
I'll let Jen tell that when she comes on for the baker's dozen. That's a
Yeah.
good one. Have Jen tell you the French fry story when she comes on.
I wanted to try and have Mike though.
Well, that's
we
fine.
can push him back.
We can always
But then I had to push him back like a whole month.
we can have Mike on and then have Jen on next after.
I'll just rearrange their episodes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That
Mike doesn't care what
matter.
number he
14's a baker's dozen. Who knows?
is. Yeah, Mike doesn't care what number he is.
No, he doesn't. I'm excited to have him on though.
He won't even
I
know
don't
what
know if
number
he's
it is.
excited or not. But
He's probably not watched enough of them to know what number you're
I
on
don't think
anyway.
he's watched a single one of them.
Yeah, so he, as
Isn't
far
that-
as he knows, you're going to be like, this is episode 14. He's going to be like, oh, God, I guess this is episode 14.
You've done 13 more of these?
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, well, we never know how it's going to go. My trucker questions are
I was
going
gonna
to
say,
seem
what
kind
other
of lame.
trucker-
I don't know why
questions
you
do you
think
have?
you're gonna have anybody after they watch this. We're canceled. I'm telling you.
Rick was the top one, and he's gonna be the bottom one. All right.
The first and the last.
Yeah. Do all truckers like country music?
They all like Joe.
I don't know. I don't know all the truck drivers.
you
But I
don't
would-
know? You don't know? You're not all in a club together,
Yeah, we're
texting
not-
each other. You're not in a
No.
group chat.
No. But I'm assuming probably not because the ethnicities of all.
That's true.
I can't see Alibaba, and it's jamming out to
Maybe.
some country. I mean, maybe some Baba Baran or something like that.
They're over listening to like Backstreet Boys.
Right.
Yeah. Do trucks have backup cameras like cars?
No,
Nah.
I didn't think because it'd have to be on the trailer.
they have to be on the trailer.
Okay.
So,
Because AI said, how come, I love this. So I was like, I have to ask this question now. Because AI actually said, how come trucks' backup cameras get dirty so fast? And I was like, I mean, I said that it was
I would
specific
assume-
truck driver, not like a Ford F-150. Like, I didn't mean that. I meant like
Yeah.
18-wheeler. But I guess maybe it took it that way.
So-
and I was like, they don't have backup cameras.
some of the newer trucks and stuff in I think 2023, and don't quote me on that, could have been a little earlier. They've gotten rid of mirrors. Like, so you look out and there's a mirror. Now it's a screen you look at that's actually on your part of your window.
So it's the heads-up display.
Yeah.
On the
So they
actual-
got rid of the mirrors and put cameras. I have never driven one of those. So I don't know exactly how they work. But yeah, they don't have side mirrors anymore. They're
They have cameras, and then you just look where the heads-up display is. Like those ones where you put your phone here and it like shines up here, kind of deal.
and it's I don't know how different that makes it using
Well,
cameras.
it's because, see, like with a mirror, you can actually like move your head and then you see more or less.
I'm
Because
guessing
everybody
they're-
does when you're backing up, you're doing this, right?
Yeah, most cameras nowadays are like 120 degree field of view anyway.
Yeah. Like a Tesla has it. It uses the side camera, but it's
Yeah.
like the problem with the Tesla is I'm looking over here, the picture's down there.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's not going to work. But with the trucks, if they put it in the
If it
right
was in the heads-up
spot,
display, yeah.
yeah, then it would work.
I don't know. I've never driven one, but I have seen them. So
Yeah.
I don't think I
But
would
no
like
backup
it.
cameras. Because, like, what do you do? Run back there every time and stick your camera on the back?
So I heard there was a Bluetooth one
There are wireless ones
duh.
you can get.
that
Yeah.
you can run back and you could stick it on and then watch on a screen or whatever. But
Well, because like the lights, the already plug in, so then the the brakes plug in.
they could
Make
put
another one for other electronics like that, like an accessory thing. But then you'd have to have the trailer.
But then you'd
that
have to
has it,
retrofit
but-
all these trailers that are out there. That cost worth it?
Yeah, I don't know. Most of the guys would say that they can do it without. Obviously, that's what the
Yeah,
training.
I mean, why would you send them to trucking school if everybody can just do it with a camera?
Yeah, but Karen, when she's got her Ford Focus, because you have
Yeah.
to have it on cars now. Like it has to
I
be.
mean,
there.
you don't have to, because even when it's on a car, it doesn't mean it's the best.
Yeah, no kidding. My last one was like a little thing.
Gens is only good to make sure you're not going to hit something as you're backing up, because other than that, you
Yeah.
can't see shit.
Yeah. This will be a quick one. When you're truck driving, do you use the radio? Do you listen to podcasts or listen to YouTube or all of it?
a little bit of everything, but mostly Netflix, Hulu, or something like that. I'll put a movie on. Not that I'm really watching it, because I don't
Yeah.
need to watch it. So like a movie that I've watched 100 times. It's just
And just
noise.
listen to the audio,
It's
yeah.
just something to listen to.
Right.
Like a
'cause-
soundtrack kind of deal.
All right. What about GPSs? I was curious. Well, that
This
leads
can
into.
go into
I know
that,
it leads into the other one.
I was
How
gonna
much time
say-
do we have? We're good.
We're at 131.
All right. So
How much-
we'll do these last two then.
Yeah.
This question here that'll lead into that last part. It's worth it.
And
Stay
then we'll have
around,
plenty
Doug.
more for
You've
the
made
rest.
it this far. Do trucks have different GPSs? Like you buy a truck GPS,
Yes.
and then how well do they work?
So
'Cause-
Ram McNally is probably one of the most well known. Garmin has a truck driving GPS, and there's some other ones out there. But those are probably the two most popular. I always preferred the Ram McNally over the Garmin. I've had them both. I just liked preference wise.
they're like the same price. Like I mean, like
Right
like
around,
$100.
No, they're right around $500.
They're more
Everything for a
expensive.
truck is for. It's a niche, so they're going to charge you for that niche.
Yeah.
And they're
And they have to make sure that what they're presenting to you is a truck route. So they have to do a little
No, they
extra due
don't. They're
diligence.
supposed to.
They're supposed to.
That's where the second
They
half of the
should be,
question.
because you would think, like, if you're paying that extra money, they did the due diligence. But if they didn't, then
Yeah.
why am I paying extra?
Because as soon as you fire the thing up, it says, this is Ramming Alley. We are not responsible if you end up getting fined or hit a low bridge or, all the bullshit. So they are not. And they are fairly good, but
There's been times where it's not accurate.
I mean, I'm on the GW, going across the GW. Everybody knows what the GW is, right? The George Washington Bridge.
Yeah.
I figured it
And
out.
I'm in the middle of the fucking bridge, and it says, make a right-hand turn here. And trust me, I probably should have. Would have been easier just to fucking end it right there. There's nothing beyond this point that you actually want to do. Die. It's a better option. So I should have listened to the GPS. It was probably right.
So they do make they make different GPSs. They market them different. They try to charge you more, and they tell you that they've done this extra thing that they haven't done. So you're probably better off just using Google.
Are they? But it's a separate unit that you buy. They're not trying to, like cars, they put it in the car. And they're like, thank you, that sucks. I'm never going to use that.
So
Do they put it in the trucks?
they do. Kenworth has it. If you buy, like a W900, you can get the 10-inch or 12-inch screen with all the touch stuff and CarPlay and all the other bullshit. And then they have a Navgo or navigation system in them and stuff.
Is it update, though?
I don't know. I could never afford a newer truck. So
Because that's the worst
That's
thing
a
about
paywall
those.
thing. Because you get the one, and then I'm sure you got to pay like for the next upgrade. They're like, hey, you want to stay legal? $35 this year, or $400, whatever they're charging. I don't know. I mean, because once they got you, they got you.
Yeah.
Or else you're going to be using outdated maps.
Yeah.
Because I know when I first started, before our phones were smart, Garmin, like, you had to buy your GPS, and then you still had to plug it in and update it every once in a while to actually have like the most recent maps and things, because otherwise it didn't have over-the-air capability
Yeah.
at the time.
I don't even need my phone anymore. I am married. And my wife knows everything.
Well, yeah, that's why you married.
Don't they all?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we don't need smartphones anymore because we've all got wives.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm only using mine as a timer for Joe.
Mine's just a list of things to talk about. It doesn't do anything else.
Yeah, and the other list on there is whatever his wife told him to do, so he don't forget it later.
Yeah, that's the second list.
That's the second list.
I got one of those too.
So leading into that, the GPS thing, I believe you had a colleague that used GPS, global, which globe is round. He thought that the Earth was flat, huh?
Yes. So he tried to convince me the Earth was flat.
I would love to know the reasons. Did you debate this person? Could you debate this person?
I did because I was interested, and I'm like, okay, why?
Me too. I
why-
would love to have one on the show.
I will try to get a hold of him. I'll try to get him on your show.
We might be
Joe.
able to talk to him.
He was
I don't know
one-
if I was serious.
So he tried to convince me that, but he did bring up a good point.
Uh-oh.
And I'm torn. I can't figure. We've been to the moon, correct?
I haven't, but...
I mean, I haven't. But
As a people, we've been to the moon.
okay, sure. Yeah.
yeah, I guess so.
Who Armstrong jumped on the moon, right? That's
Yeah.
what they're telling us.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
Why haven't we been back?
I mean,
The GPS didn't tell us how to get
yeah,
there.
the GPS didn't tell us to bigger yet.
So Elon's trying to get back to the moon. Is that what I
No, Elon's trying to go to Mars. He's not even trying to go to the moon.
He's going to pass that exit
He doesn't even want
and
to
go
do
to
the
the next
moon. He just
one.
wants to go straight to Mars. Yeah.
I thought he was trying to get back to the moon or some shit. And
Well, I think
I mean, not that I've heard. Maybe he is. I don't know.
because I think the Chinese just went there.
Because I heard that
Recently.
he was. Last
Right?
I heard was he said, "Why don't we get rid of this International Space System and focus on going to Mars?" So, if there was a moon perspective, I would imagine though, we've already looked beyond the moon for a long time.
so
Just
wait,
think about it.
Listen to this. We've landed on the moon, and then we're able to take back off.
Yeah.
So how come we can't fucking get a space shuttle to take off of Earth and come back and land back on Earth? But we could do it on the fucking moon, and they're telling us, well, we don't have the technology yet.
I think it's a cost
That's
thing.
well. There's
That's
also
the
gravity
problem.
involved there too. Because when you're taking off the moon, you have less gravity than you would from Earth.
Okay, but that can be easily calculated, supposedly, correct?
I mean, I know plenty of people that are supposed to be good at math that aren't. But
I'm okay. I'm pretty good at math. I can't read, but I can math.
yeah, I mean, look,
But
I don't know
I
if that's
think-
the case or not. So
But the technology doesn't exist, is what they said, and that's why they're working on trying to get something to take off.
which
and
is
then
what SpaceX is working on, to get the ones that go up and come back down with the reusable bottoms,
right,
and they're
right.
doing.
We've
all
already
right.
done it. If we've been to the moon and every. So you're telling me how does
Well,
that technology not exist?
In the case of what took back off from the moon again, though, it was not reusable when it hit Earth again. That was the thing.
Right.
That's the one thing Elon's trying to solve now, that if it gets there and comes back down before it leaves the atmosphere, it won't have all the burn up and stuff. Whereas in that case, it came back through and burn up. But I mean, yeah, why? I mean, it's a good question. I wasn't around. I wasn't born. I'm sure my mom wasn't even thinking about me at
I
that
mean,
point
it
in
definitely
life.
starts making you go, You know?
But I mean, there's a lot of things that I could go, that doesn't make sense, but it's still right. It doesn't. mean I
Yeah, I'm
wanna
not
just
saying
start
it.
debating it.
I think conspiracy theories are fun.
Yeah, right.
They are fun because they have
So, no,
some
I've never heard
good
that.
points sometimes that nobody ever answered.
I've
And you're
never
like, that's a
heard
good
that
point.
one be used as the moon landing portion being used for flat Earth. Most of the time, I hear flat Earth. It's if I stand on the highest point, why can't I see the next highest point? Kind of deal. If we're flat, kind of thing to argue it, or why can't I see the curvature of the Earth? Is the other thing that they use a lot. I'd never heard that one.
So, and the other thing he brought up is if you fly in an airplane, and I've flown a bunch of times, and you can kind of see the curvature, or at least what I thought was. But he's right. When you take off of here and here, if you're flying up and around, because you got to go around, the distance between here and here is a shorter distance as a straight line than it is curved.
Yeah.
When they give you your mileage and your flight time, it's in a straight line. It is not curved.
Depends how far you go. I think.
I have never flown, so I can't answer that part.
Usually when you're going across the sea, then it is curved. But if you're just doing it in the U.S., then it's like kind of straight because it's not far enough. I think that might be the difference, but I don't know.
Okay, so you're.
I don't
okay,
fly the
You
plane.
would have to ask your
Wait,
dad.
But I
you're
do like when
shooting.
I'm on the plane and they do show me the GPS and I can actually see the plane. Makes me feel way better.
So
Like,
if the Earth is rounded, look, and you're flying, and I take off from here, why doesn't the plane go like this? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that also assumes that the Earth being round means that it's solid everywhere. But the Earth being round is not solid everywhere. There's portions of water that are deeper than others. It's not a level surface the whole way around. And when you think of the round Earth, the outside is that gaseous atmosphere. So it's not like you can't just land on that. It's not like you can't sit on the outside. So you're not just flying the plane over the ground in a curvature because the Earth is round. I mean,
Okay, another thing he brought up: stand up on top of a high hill or whatever, and you can see quite a ways.
now that one I've heard. Yeah.
Now you take a telescope, and that thing, like especially in water, like you watch a ship disappear in the horizon, because supposedly it's starting to go over the curb, and that's why it looks like it's getting lower and lower in the water, right? Until you pull up a telescope, and then it's right there again.
I don't think that's why that is, but maybe. I mean,
I don't know. I don't own a telescope. I looked at getting a telescope. They're really expensive.
Yes, they are.
yeah, they
They're like
are.
$2,000. And I was like, huh.
I bought one off eBay because I went through that same trap. I was like,
Yeah,
I want
because
one
I
of
was
those. They're
like,
expensive.
there was like the little kid one that was like $100. I'm like, that's gonna be like zooming in with my phone. I know
So
it
supposedly, like if a
because I
boat-
know about lenses. Lenses are
I mean,
expensive.
we've all been to the beach,
yeah,
and
and
we've
sand in
all-
my ass and everything.
right? So if you watch a boat go out far enough, it disappears,
Yeah.
and it keeps looking like it's going lower, and it's because of the horizon.
See, I think it's just your eyes can only see so far before the light's no longer being reflected back to you, is my understanding.
But then, as soon as
Well,
you
yeah,
put
but
it
you
under
also-
a telescope, or you
Because if
know,
you add a lens, then you're just extending the focal point.
Also, too, it depends about the air. Just like here, light gets diffused as it goes through air.
If there's
so
fog
the
and
reason I
stuff,
can
yeah.
see that ship is because light hit that ship and then came back and hit me in the eye.
Yeah, that's
so
what I'm saying,
eventually
like,
that light gets diffused.
It gets
Right.
to the point
So
where the
if
light's
there's
not coming
fog,
back to me
if there's
anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
but
There's-
that was one of the
has
things
to
he brought
be-
up, and I was like,
Because that's where I was saying, like, if you take a telescope, the reason you can see it now is because the light is hitting it, going through the lens, and then hitting your eye.
Yeah.
The telescope is extending that light
Right, but eventually it's not going to be able to see it.
Yeah,
There's
eventually
no
it's gonna
way.
be far enough away. Yeah.
If it's going this way, yeah. But if it's going away from me, man, I don't think you. I don't know how you could. But
I've
again,
never stood
at
on the end
same
of the.
time,
I've never stood on the beach to actually
light-
see how far you could. You know,
right
I
around.
have seen it disappear, and
Yeah.
knowing it went over the horizon, you no longer see it. And they say over the horizon because that's supposedly over the horizon of the where the Earth and the clouds meet is the horizon.
Well, here's the best part, though.
but
right?
does that changes because of a
different-
telescope or whatever, so you could see further and further.
Yeah, and just like a fishbowl, if you try and look around the edge of it, light gets distorted. So at that horizon level, light gets very distorted.
Well, and how are you going to prove it? You're going to use a camera with a lens anyway. That lens is going to be longer than what your eye can see.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
that's
that was
the
one of the
next-
things he had brought up, and interesting enough to make you go,
Yeah, but that's how conspiracy theories usually work. They usually pick something that you're like, I don't really know enough about it, and I don't know. I don't want to go look it up.
Yeah.
So I'll take what your explanation is as legitimate until I hear otherwise.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I ever thought it was, you know.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I'm interested. That's why we want to know. We're curious.
Yeah.
Like, what's the reason? Like, what makes him think it's real?
Right.
But he believes that GPS works, but he doesn't believe GPS is. That's where in my mind, like, because GPS.
So supposedly,
is
in
3
his theory,
satellites,
is
yeah.
that the Earth is flat and we have a dome over top of it, and that's where.
Okay, so it's when he's thinking flat, it's that everything is flat, but it's perspective out, and there is a dome over us that's still the ozone, which would be why the International Space Station sees a curvature and shit.
Right.
Okay. That would not make sense to me because that's not how the perspective of the Earth looks, but I guess that works for him. That if that was the case, you could say GPS, you could say satellites work because they're still over the dome, and you could still triangulate to a point on the surface, but that's not, I mean, then that doesn't explain how seasons work and, everything else.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
So his theory was we are still spinning. So if you have the sun over here,
Yeah, but that's-
as
but
you
the whole
spin
thing
to
is
the
the
backside, you'd be
hemispheres.
in the winter, and as you come back around, that's your season change.
Yeah, but that doesn't explain the hemispheres because if what he's saying is that it's spread out, you would assume that instead of South America being down here away from the light, it should be out here further. So shouldn't it be closer to light in some instances where it technically is not, guaranteed not? I mean, I'm not asking you, I'm asking that guy.
I know, right?
We'll have him on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I
just
don't-
wanted to know the points.
It's interesting to
I
hear
like
his
to hear the
reasoning,
points because
yeah.
any conspiracy
Conspiracy theory.
yeah, I had to get through it. Is interesting to hear the points, right? To see what they say because we all
It is what it is.
yeah
Exactly.
we've all watched the 9/11 ones, the JFK ones, the
that's the thing,
Area
there's always
51,
enough
the
truth.
UFO ones,
and there's enough truth that you can bend it.
right?
Or there's enough mystery that
Yeah.
That could be
not
distorted. Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that's with everything.
but I wouldn't want to bring somebody on and piss them off. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking to argue with him and say you're wrong, but
Yeah.
my thing is that how do you explain that if South America is supposed to be, logistically over here and North America's here now because we're flat, why would this one be dark when this one's light? Wouldn't it be the other way?
I would be
Where's the
more
shadow
interested
come from?
in,
Yeah.
in the explanation. You can have a plane take off and fly east, and if you wait long enough, it's eventually going to come back around from the west. It does. We've flown around the Earth. Explain that then.
Well, I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson, the one he showed was because when the moon goes through its phases, it's the shadow of the Earth
Yeah,
on the
blocking
moon.
it, yeah.
And that's always looks like a crescent, and that's the shadow of the Earth. It's like you can literally see it right there. It was like that was the best one because then he goes, "How come it doesn't look like this?" And he put a stick shadow. And I was like, "That's funny."
Well, that's the thing. Like, and I understand people being like, why if I fly like this and I don't see the curvature of the Earth, that makes me think it's not real. And I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know how a scab forms, yet I know if I cut my arm, a scab's going to form. So,
You
Yeah.
better hope it does.
right? Like, I'm
Not
not
for
trying
everybody.
to challenge everything.
Yeah. Not for everybody.
There
They
have to
have
be
blood
some accepted-
diseases where they get
Well,
cut
yeah,
and
yeah.
their blood
If I had
doesn't.
clotting issues, I guess, yeah.
Mhm.
We are at 147, sir.
I have to know. Do you like the Peaky Blinders?
I did. I watched it. Yeah, the whole.
What do you
episode.
think of it?
I liked it.
Fuck you!
Hold on.
I'm gonna get all right. It's 2.
Here's the best
No,
part.
I didn't watch it.
No. Here's the best part, right? So now we're going to go into the conversation of how
No, we're not.
Rick, and my wife are all the same. And I am the same as your wives. Because
You're a bitch.
because you guys like drama. You're a bunch of FOMOs. You like drama. You like social people. You like being around people. And then you like these dramas of Peaky Blinders for 36 hours with a naked guy.
Yeah. I got Maddie into it. She
I want
thinks,
shorter ones.
Tommy is cute, so
Maddie says that just so you leave her alone.
yeah.
She's tired of
I
hearing
got
you
it
talk about
on.
Peaky Blinders.
She's got to do something.
She's like, he's
well,
watching it for the 14th time. Maybe if I tell him I'll like it, he'll move on to something else.
Throw in the comments. Do we like the Peaky Blinders? Because we do. The movie's coming out later this year,
Here's-
supposedly.
here's
and
the
Kenny
thing,
is going to
okay?
watch every episode until then, and then he's going to watch it, and then we're going to watch the movie together, and then he's going to admit that it's awesome.
Joe is upset because I've made him watch horrible movies in the past, right?
it's
So here's the
terrible.
best part. I've made Joe watch terrible movies, and at the most, I've made him waste 2.5 hours of his life. Joe is asking me
Per
to waste-
movie.
Yeah, per movie. That's all right.
And there's like 50 of them.
Yeah, but Joe
Don't let
gets-
him lie to you.
Yeah. This is an event for Joe, but he gets 50 different experiences. Joe wants me to have one experience that lasts 36 fucking hours.
Worth every. I've watched it 5 times now. It's that worth it.
I've never even watched Game of Thrones, and you're trying to throw another show at me.
That you don't need to watch that show. It's that. No,
If
we're
there
not
wasn't-
getting into this,
if there
are we?
wasn't as much
I just
nudity,
wanted
I
to
probably
answer.
wouldn't have watched Game of Thrones, but
I just want Game of Thrones is a lot. That's a lot. I'm not asking you for that. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I haven't watched all of it because it got too soap opera-y for me. You know, after a while, I was just like, "Who the hell is this?" Like, we'd get like 5 minutes of story on each person, and then it'd be like, "Oh, over here and over here," just like a soap opera. And I was just like, "This is too many characters." That's why they had to start killing them because we got too many guys.
So that's why you like Peaky Blinders. They just stay with like the same 4 people every time.
They had 4, and they
So
still
Joe gets
kept
it.
killing them. So you only got like 2 left. You're like, huh, not to ruin it. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to watch all 36 hours, so you're not hurting my feelings. But anybody else watching this, I'm sorry.
We'll watch it.
Spoiler alert.
Well, we thought about doing that on the podcast. Maybe one where we watch a movie or something, and they got a time.
Yeah, I
out,
mean,
but
I
we
think,
comment
you know-
on it. But I want to watch one with terrible lighting so that I can.
And
Right.
I'm 100% on board with you there that we definitely need to watch a horrible movie during this that has a horrible storyline or a horrible thing and a horrible lighting so that I can bitch about the storyline, you can bitch about the lighting. But I also think we should,
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
that movie is a classic and amazing. The Chiodo brothers are fantastic and they deserve everything that they get.
The dumbest shit I have ever watched. I think I got I lost 2 IQ points at least watching that.
This says the guy that dropped a knife in his foot trying to use it as a shield from a bullet.
Right, I don't have 2 to lose, and I lost 2 because you made me watch it.
But yeah, I'm all for that. But I think if we do that, we should have Noah on or somebody that's never seen it because I have watched some Steven Seagal movies lately, and I'll tell you what, man, I found a couple of those we can use for that experiment.
I wish we could find one that we could actually show, so we could have it playing at the bottom, so people could see it.
Well, I think
I would totally watch one of
The
those.
problem with that is
I have
that
to now.
Steven Seagal is still alive, so we are not going to find
Oh.
anything that's in the fair use policy.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
I
way.
think it's out of copyright at this
We'll-
point. but
Hey,
we
I
could
think we'll be
definitely-
dead by
I
then.
made Lindsay watch Flash Gordon.
I made Jen watch Flash Gordon. Actually, so here's the best part. You think I make you watch horrible shit? You have never talked to my wife on, Discord in the evening. Because currently I made her watch, and this one you'll bitch about. I made you watch Star Trek, the original series, which you hated because it was campy. But I love it because of campiness. So then I took Jen and made her watch the original Batman series from 1966 with Adam West and Burt Ward.
That poor girl.
She's loving it. And we watched the movie where he's fighting the rubber shark out of the helicopter. Look, if you've never seen it, Batman, Adam West, 1966, totally worth it. Na 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 na. Joe's got a tiny wiener.
Pow!
Calm down, Timu Seagal.
So you think that I make you watch horrible shit? My wife has to watch more horrible shit than I ever inflict on you. So I'm sure that your wife is the same with Peaky Blinders. She's just like, I'll watch it, so he shuts
We're
up.
going to find out who our audience tastes are.
Yeah.
Aligned with. Mine or yours.
Yeah, I mean,
But then
please
again, I
put
went
in
to
the
film
comments.
school and everyone hated my taste there, so it's probably me. Then again, it's not. 300 was a great movie.
I liked
I
it.
went to film school and I didn't see Star Wars. Oh my God.
You know what's
That's
funny?
like going to church without a Bible or something.
Dude,
I don't know.
worked-
I didn't think the movie was that good.
I-
And then
so
they
I'm
made
not
me
a-
hate it
I'm
because
not
they
a
loved
Star
it
Wars
so much.
fan. And when I worked, so one of my first jobs as a kid was I worked at a video store, and we got free rentals. So the first thing everybody asked me was like, "What do you think of Star Wars?" I'm like, "I've never seen it." They're, how do you not see it? You get free movies. It's not a movie I want to waste my time on, right? So then I got asked the question so many times, and I'm sure it's the same way you were at film school. You get asked so many fucking times where you're like, "Fine, I'm going to watch one of these motherfuckers just to see what it's like." And you watch it, and you're like, I still don't see what you see in it. I get that maybe you were like 10 years old and your dad took you to the theater and it was the coolest thing you'd ever seen in the world. But I've seen newer CGI shit and I can't get the same experience that you did out of it. And Luke's lightsaber ain't making my dick hard.
Sorry we went on a tangent.
Especially
there.
because you're calling it Star Wars number 4, A New Hope, for the first one that I've ever got to watch. And then you're telling me I got to go back and watch some prequels, and I might have to watch some holiday special that they released one time on VHS because it might tie into some new series that Disney decided to put out.
I'm just thinking my Schwartz is bigger than yours.
Yeah, at least Spaceballs is
Spaceballs.
fucking great.
Yeah, that movie's good. Sorry, Rick. We
I
went
knew
on a
you two
tangent
idiots.
there at the end.
You two idiots would fucking pick up
Just
on
wanted to know if I was right, and you told me I'm right. So
Well, Joe
How
better
many
pick up my
assholes?
Joe better pick up on it. He drives a Tesla.
yeah,
It could go into ludicrous mode at any time. Or
yeah,
plaid.
it'll deliver me back to its home mothership.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Right to the White House lawn.
Yeah. All right, we done?
I think so.
Are they done?
They're
they leave a-
gone.
They're
they
waiting
leave
for
a
you to
comment?
crawl under the table
They
again.
leave it. Did you leave a comment? I asked you to comment like 3 times. I don't remember what any of them were.
No.
I don't either.
I got a
Calm
comment.
down, Timu Stigall. It is what it is.
Perfect. All right, that's the end of that episode. Will be
Next
another one to
week
go
you
for
may
the top.
see Mike, or you might see Jen, or whoever Joe gets. That poor person will be here
if
with
they
us.
can make it up the driveway.
Well, it's not snowing anymore, so we're okay for now.
But I'm still the only one to get them under the table.
3 times in a row.
All right, guys. We'll see ya.